Hey everyone. Thank you for being here. Um, this is Cindy. It is, according to the calendar, October 6th, 2025 at 11:30. It's the space we at an open door have labeled where the rubber meets the road. It's an opportunity to pull, a pointing from A Course in Miracles and share together how this pointing can be utilized in our walking around space, I guess. What I'm going to do is, it's so interesting. I opened the book got opened at random. I read one paragraph, and until I went and wrote the email this weekend, I didn't even know what workbook lesson it was. It was just this few lines that I was being pulled into. So I'm going to read these lines, and I'm going to read a couple of words from The Infinite Way and Joel Goldsmith, and then I'm going to play a song, and then I'm going to probably read these words and say a few things, and then open it up for conversation. Now that August is here, we can get started. Really, actually, it's now that Linda Joy is here because this is one of my Linda Joy songs. So I'm glad that you're here, Linda. Um, But first, here are the words. Thus, what you need are intervals each day in which the learning of the world becomes a transitory phase, a prison house from which you go into the sunlight and forget the darkness. Here you understand the word, the name which God has given you, the one identity which all things share, the one acknowledgement of what is true. And then step back to darkness, not because you think it's real, but only to proclaim its unreality in terms which still have meaning in the world which darkness rules. From the infinite way, the stress of daily living would deprive us of this great spirit unless we are careful to retire often into the sanctuary of our inner being, and there let the Christ be our honored guest. Never let vain conceit or a belief in personal power keep you from the sacred experience. Be willing, be receptive, be still. I played this song recently, but when it arose to play again this morning, I didn't hesitate. When we drop our stories, when we drop our attachment to who we are in terms of our relationship to others, all that's left is this, all that's left is home. I'm loving that word more and more. And so the song, let's play a song. There it is. We really will play a song. Here we go.
It's good to be back home. Yeah, see. love overflowing. I wish I was home. I wish I was back there with the things that I've been knowing. Wind that makes a tall grass bend into leaning, and suddenly the raindrops that fall have a meaning, sprinkling the sea. It makes it all clean. Maybe there's a chance for me to go back now that I have some direction. Oh, sure would be nice to be back home where there's love and affection. And maybe I can convince time to slow up, giving me enough time in my life to grow up. Time be my friend. Let me start again. Hey, suddenly my world's gone and changed its face, yet I still know where I'm going. I've had my mind run around in space, yet I've watched it grow. And if you're listening, God, please don't make it hard for us to know if we should believe the things we see. Tell us, should we run away? Should we try and stay? Or would it be better, better just to let things be? Living in this brand new world, it may be a fantasy, yeah, but it's taught me to love, 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 love. And it's really, 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 really real to me. And we must look inside our hearts to find a world of love like yours, like mine, like
Thus, what you need are intervals each day in which the learning of the world becomes a transitory phase, a prison house from which you go into the sunlight and forget the darkness. Here you understand the word, the name which God has given you, the one identity which all things share, the one acknowledgement of what is true. And then step back to the darkness in the world of form, not because you think it real, but only to proclaim its unreality in terms which still have meaning in the world which darkness rules, or the denial of the divine, or where fear is seen as valuable, the world of separation. The stress of daily living would deprive us of this great spirit, which in the infinite way is called the Christ light, unless we are careful to retire often into the sanctuary of our inner being, and there let the Christ be our honored guest. Never let vain conceit or a belief in personal power keep you from this sacred experience. Be willing, be receptive, be still. I was sitting with all of this just this morning. There was this recognition, this understanding. I put this. There was an awareness when I was sitting this morning of consciousness, supreme consciousness, the oneness, the understanding that there was just this one mind, right? And within that awareness of that, there was this experience of being Cindy. And as looking out as Cindy, awareness of all these other seemingly separate human beings that I interact with, that I think I have stories about, that I think about, and that I either celebrate and or wish that their world were somewhat different, and how our interactions kind of affect this being of Cindy. And held in that awareness. And there was also this awareness similar to Cindy and Amy or Rana or Sandra or my daughter Emma or Sarah or Sarah's boyfriend Will or mom or dad, or it goes on and on and on. It's so interesting how many separate beings are in just one world in one day, like it seemed unending. There's also this experience of being a Cindy in relationship to the guides, Paul Selick and the guides, Cindy and the teachings of Joel Goldsmith, and Cindy and this inner voice, and this sense that from the standpoint of Cindy, when it arises, I saw this spaciousness. Oh, look at this. These thoughts are coming up, this concern about something in the world, meaning anything outside this stillness. And in that moment of coming up, there comes this memory of the teachings of the guides, or Joel, or Rupert, or fill in the blank, this sense that as beautiful as all these relationships are, when they hold this sense of darkness, and here darkness is being identified as separate from me, or having a taint of fear in them, or wishing that they were different, doesn't matter. The teachings of the guides, especially right now, are so alive. I can bring it all to the upper room and have an experience of all of that from there, which is retiring to this sacred place. And at least for full confession, the way that is appearing in Cindy's world right now is a frequent pause to be in the guide's newest attunement. I find myself over and over and over again during the day just sitting and allowing, the words, I am in God, I am of God, I am with God, God is with me, to just play and not really spend too much time thinking about it, but simply in that space, that frequent pause. Ron and I have been playing in the pause for years, if you believe linear time. But in this dropping into the pause and remembering that something else is going on, I am noticing a shift in all my relationships with seeming others. And to me, that's just this teaching without spending too much time trying to analyze what it means. For me, the teaching simply is, yes, right now there is an experience of a world and there is a purpose to Cindy being in this world. And sort of just like Jesus going into the desert frequently in the story of Jesus, we are being invited to pause, to step back, to fill with this higher vibration by whatever name, and then to step back into the world and allow it to do what it's going to do. And then frequently, and I've noticed if I remember to do it before I empty, it seems to work in a way that's becoming more and more entertaining, to just keep being filled, remembering, practicing the pause, practicing. And Joel Goldsmith, especially in my head, he tells me it doesn't have to take more than a second to stop and remember that there's something else going on here and fill up with that, and then let it just color the experience of the world and allow myself to be a witness of what that means, instead of investing a lot of energy in using the mind that still plays in separation to tell me what it means. So that's what I offer us into this space. Andrew's not here, so I can't say "and now, Andrew," but I am inspired to just say "and now, Rana," just because right now Rana has this space of being able to sit and be with us. And a little birdie told me that that is going to change even within this hour. So there you have it.
Hey, everyone. Very grateful to be here with you all. And gosh, this lesson has so much in it, but let's stay focused, Rana. So yeah, that's what I really, it hit me. Pause and remember frequently throughout the day. There's so many teachers that use that, to pull the identity away from the world and remember the true self and connect with being just for a moment. And it is my direct experience that it only takes a moment of recognition. I mean, it can literally just be 3 seconds. When there's longer time to sit with it, that's beautiful, but just that sheer remembrance of things has been so helpful to me. Not only is this direct me to remember who I am, it's to remember who everybody and everything else is too. And I love the way it talks about the names and the labels. And yeah, that's required for us to move through this physical world. But as we go into these moments of remembering, it says, yeah, go ahead and use the labels when you come back, but remember the truth, and there's been such a softening here, in regards to others and what's beautiful and not beautiful in the world and things like that. Those labels, just I see how deeply labels and naming can create separation. But I love that, it points to just remembering we all have the same name, and it uses the label of God. But I mean, we don't even need words, it's the presence, the stillness, the whatever. I remember that is true of myself and everything I see. And earlier in the lesson, it was kind of neat. It's pointing out to that space that I think is in between everything and how limited that vision is. Like there's just, our vision seems to show us divisions and boundaries between objects, but really everything is connected in a different way of seeing. beyond what the body can see. And what I was saying to Cindy before the meeting, I have little notes all in the margins as I went through this lesson several times before. And the things that showed up today, I can see how understanding is happening here. You know, just simple statements. Everyone is God despite the individuated labels. This is my stuff that came up as I was reading. And everything and everyone is divine. You know, and I think that's what Joel points to. Thank you for reading that other portion too, Cindy. I just, you know, the messages are clear. They just mirror all over the place. Just calm your butt down and take a moment and remember frequently throughout the day. Remember the truth. So thanks. It's really good to be with you guys today. I have an appointment with the surgeon at 1 that I'm having on the 23rd. The other half is coming out. So since we walked through the first one in January and it was no big deal, I trust it'll be again. So thanks.
For anyone that doesn't know, it's the other half of the thyroid. Uh,
Better living through surgery.
uh, we are looking at lesson
184.
184. Hey, August, your hand went up and down, and if you thought I missed it, it doesn't work like that in this room. Even though my head was turned away and you maybe thought I missed it,
Make any sense?
not a chance.
Okay, so this is, I mean, obviously this is happening, but timing is wild because what we're talking about today specifically or right now, the experience of this happened apparently. I might be okay, well, I guess I'm making this up now because there's only now, but I'm just sharing so humans can communicate and share stories. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm gonna go back to human sharing. So last night, well, okay. I said yes to a whole bunch of things this weekend, and I ended up being out until 10 in the morning on a Sunday. Like, as in from the Saturday night. Don't worry about it, okay? Once I got back here, all I wanted to do was pass out and sleep. That's what I wanted to do. Just pass out. And I was woken up to the loudest techno music blasting from this stupid roof across me, okay? And I checked in with the people in this Airbnb. I said I was looking for peace, quiet, and solitude. That's what I'm here. I'm not here to party. I'm here for privacy and peace and solitude. Is that the case? And they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyways, didn't tell me about this situation. Still dealing with that. Don't worry about it. And it was just so wild. It was like so loud. It was like blasting. All the windows are closed. It's like blasting inside. It's like it's so loud it's hurting my ears. I can't even get away from it. Not my bedroom, not the living room. I happen to be facing this thing, so it's like really coming in, and it's techno music, so the hi-hats are like all up in here, and I'm losing my shit. Not gonna lie, I'm like about to a wall or something. That's how much it was getting to me. Okay, and there was like nothing I can do to get away from it because the people downstairs even told me don't walk outside in the dark here. So I couldn't even leave here. I was just like stuck in this space with this loud techno music blasting, and all I wanted to do was go back to sleep. And like I even call my mom stuff. Like she's trying to calm me down. It's not helping. Now that even the sound of her voice is like hurting me. I'm like, Mom, please just stop. I just need to. I don't even know what I need to do. So I was like, love you, gotta go. And I was, I reached, I guess, I reached such an end of like that I was like, the only way I can escape this situation is to like go into the void. So I got into bed and I just started diving in there. I just started going within, whatever you want to call that. Like I just what dissociated. I don't know. I don't know what you call it, okay? But it's exactly what we're talking about right now. And I went so deep in that. I don't know how long I went in there or how much time. It was definitely more than like an hour. I want so, to like the other side or like the other frequency or like the other perspective or like whatever you want to call this. And I was all up in that peaceful bliss, lovey-dovey. I was back in the place I forgot about. You feel what I'm saying? And I understand why all this is happening while I'm here. It was just because I wasn't doing it voluntarily. So they had to make the situation in such a way I was, forced to kind of go back there. And then I started remembering a lot of things. You feel me? Everything we're talking about right now. Wild. And when I came out of it, it was fully silent, okay? And it was so silent that I got scared. I thought I went deaf or something. Like something got messed up here when I left and came back. I really got scared. So I jumped out of bed and like I went to the balcony to see if the party's still on because it should be because it was like early in the night and this stuff goes on till late. The lights were off. All the lights everywhere were off. There was only sounds of chirping birds outside. I didn't even understand, but I was like, damn, I really reality shifted. Anyways, so recent experience. And yeah, I get it. I understand now. I didn't know why I'm out here in Tulum. I didn't even know it was a party city, okay? I just saw an Airbnb and I came here because I asked them if it was peaceful and quiet. Anyways, I get it now. I understand it all now. So folks, just do it voluntarily so you don't have to go the hard way like I did.
Right. So I'm gonna read you from The Infinite Way. Like it's just 2 paragraphs before what I read into the meeting. You ready? This is for you, August.
Yeah.
Everybody else too, but tell me if this relates to what you just shared. Okay. You ready? You sure?
I
The
guess.
Christ comes to our consciousness most clearly in those moments when we come face to face with problems for which we have no answer and no power with which to surmount them. And we realize that I can of my own self do nothing. In these moments of self effacement, the gentle Christ overshadows us, permeates our consciousness, and brings the peace be still to the troubled mind.
You'll send me a picture of that.
I can. Now,
I gotta
these
remember
words
that.
were
That or
written
something. I don't know.
like 10 or 12 years before I was born. I think this book was published in like 1950 or something. So,
Yeah.
but it sounds like you just gave us testimony to what we brought into this meeting. Pretty awesome to know that it works.
And like this stuff's been going on I've been here for I think a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, but it's been on and off. It's been on and off stuff like this happening. Not to a point where I like couldn't even get out of it, But I get it. Could have done this earlier. But you know what? It's all happening perfectly as it should. So rock on, everybody. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to share this right now if I didn't, do whatever I did for the past, whatever. It happened. It just is.
Yeah. We said one way or another, we've all said yes to I don't even know what to a higher vibrational experience. Let me just leave it at that because I don't like the terms we've been using. To something new, to something more true and more real. And that yes, and hanging out in that yes is what's doing the work. Somehow there is, right, Amy? There's no doer here. You know what was so cool? I'm going to share this. I had this surreal experience Saturday. I stepped into a dyad that I wasn't really planning on going to until I showed up. And someone in this room who I'd never seen in the dyad space was there. And I was like, I was having this kind of feeling of trying not being able to like know which one of my communities I was in. See if he says anything. There he is.
And I found myself having mixed feelings. Oh, would it be interesting to be in the dyad with you, Cindy? And then another thought, oh, I hope I'm someone new, because I get so much of with Cindy. But it was like, and then just whatever, whatever, whatever. And then I had that warm feeling, and it just kept growing. And it's like all that you've been talking about and how difficult it was for me somehow to wind up in the global community. I just made it difficult, apparently. And I was so happy to be there. And it was like, again, what I said in the chat, maybe make it a little more personal. I just keep seeing, feeling, it's this knowing. When I go quiet, I still know. When I don't go quiet, I still know. And whether it's whatever's going on, the disruption can't connect in the sense with my wife, I know the connection is always there. And it's so comforting. And it's that saying, it doesn't matter. I don't mind. I'm home. I just keep coming back to that. I don't know. So it's not very stimulating. I love August's energy. It's here now. It's like a reminder. And I get, it's like fills my cup up. But that's okay. I just know I show up the way I show up. So I just wanted to share that. And thank you for Cindy for being not a gatekeeper because there's no one there either. But anyway, I like that saying. It's always available now, I feel. And I'm always available.
Yeah, you are. And for anyone who didn't tell, William and I did not do the dyad together. He hung out with another young man from Canada. We're filled with these young men from Canada. Who else is going to share, Richard? You, maybe. Not that I'm volunteering you anything. I'm just heard it come out of my mouth.
Everyone, love us all, and a great lesson. A couple of things came up recently. Kevin Keith Kavanaugh was talking about how we have to drop into the syllabus, and when we're in there, it reminded me of well, you and Cindy and who's normally here and that is Andrew. Andrew said, when you drop into the syllabus, you hear this humming in your mind. And so Keith was saying, when you do this, at first, when you do it, it may last a second or two. But if you continue to do it more frequently, you will be able to stay in this place longer and longer without thoughts distracting you. And I'm finding that to be true. And I was reminded that with this lesson. And also, William always talks about being in the present moment, making the decision to be in that moment. And that also reminded me of how important it is to take the effort to be there and be the moment in the present moment. And then I thought about the Course also says those who chose to come here. So we all chose to come here. We all chose to have this experience as a separate self in the body. So obviously my analytic mind goes, why did I decide that? And I love the teachings of I'm having trouble remembering names now. Sundberg, Christian Sundberg, where he said, maybe we have, at least in my mind, maybe we have a saying why we came here and how we had to, but play part of the game of designing our experience while we're here. At least some of the major things we experience. So the Course also says that the body-mind, the separate self, is a communication tool in order to communicate and be a miracle worker with others in the dream that are not aware of the true self. So anyway, I really enjoyed the lesson and the sharing. Thank you.
Thank you. Two things while I was listening to you. One, the guides have been pointing to that lately, or at least I've been hearing them point to just the acknowledgement that on some level, and again, I don't know who or what, but on some level, we've all chosen to be part of what's going on now. So we're in this massive transformation of the human collective. And there was free will on some level in this decision to be part of it. And as you were sharing about Chris, when Chris was like, ooh, I want what that being has. I want the peace. And the being said, well, then, it's what you're going to do as a human that's going to get you there. And Chris was like, oh, pick me. Somehow we've all done that, right? On some level that I don't understand. And the other one is this paragraph, this idea that we keep getting filled up, in that quiet space with light, and then we go back into this, you call it the dream, the world of separation, and it's like we shoot out the light, and then we go back and fill up, and then we go out. I like that visual, and in the process, whatever Cindy is keeps rising, keeps somehow being purified and rising in vibration in the process of being of service. The guides keep talking about it being service, and so many of the other teachings, Chris, there is a purpose to this existence. I've gotten real comfortable having no clue. I've gotten really comfortable accepting that the separated mind doesn't know what it is. That's a better way of putting it. Yeah.
I also sent a message to a number. I have on the email for a number of us, a few number of us, and I think it was from my original Kindle message that was sent out months ago, but I sent a YouTube clip about explaining the difference between the soul and the spirit. And I don't know how many of you, I know I sent it to you, Cindy, and Amy, and Sandra at Patricia, yeah. But I thought it was a good explanation of the soul being part of the illusion and spirit being reality. So hope you enjoy it when you listen to it.
I'll have to go look for it. All right, so I'm calling you out, Sandra, because something here wants to know what you're going to say when you open your mouth and speak, if you choose.
That will be interesting to hear what I say, since I have no thoughts at the moment. Let me pause. Let's take that pause that we've been talking about. I think there's something that happens in this form that I rarely speak about. And that is the feeling of embodiment of divinity. And I'm feeling it now. And I know some teachers say that which comes and goes isn't the truth of who you are. It's only that which is always the same and is unchanging. And yet, I know from my experience that the body tells me as much, probably more than the mind, when I have learned to listen to it. And I read this full lesson because I like reading the full lesson. I like getting the context of the paragraph that you pick. And in this lesson, early on, I think the first 5 paragraphs, it talks about the inheritance. I mean, the whole lesson is about the name of God is my inheritance. It's mine. It's in my DNA. But it talks about like these 2 phases. The first phase is being born into the world and learning the world and knowing all the signs and symbols and knowing that the world is real and thinking that the world is real. And then it says that kind of learning stops short of meaning. You know how we all go, what is the purpose? What is the meaning of this? I mean, I think I heard so many people say this, especially when you're in a college dorm and you're sitting around and you're getting a little high and you're thinking, you want to talk about, all these philosophical opinions. So anyway, that kind of learning stops short. And then it says, it serves as a starting point. In its proper place, it serves as a starting point from which another kind of learning can begin. A new perception can be gained. And all the arbitrary names of the world, and I think names is just like a euphemism for everything, symbols and everything. And all the arbitrary names the world bestows can be withdrawn as they are raised to doubt. I don't know why I picked that sentence. I just looked down and there it was. So I think think not you made the world, and goes on. So this new kind of learning, that's why I looked down. I looked down because I was going to share that my body, the body, tells me things. For example, often when you're speaking, you go, I gotta chill. I hear you, I gotta chill. What was that chill telling you? Where did it come from? Why did you suddenly get a chill? Like those goosebumps that tell you, wow, something's happening. Or now I'm learning to read the signs of the pain that I get. I don't know why I'm disclosing this in this moment. But I guess what I want to say, I feel so very blessed and in awe and astonished sometimes by the truth of the beauty of the divinity that we hold in these bodies. Now, I could say the body isn't real, the body isn't the truth of who I am, but I feel through the body glorious, beautiful feelings of, and they're not all mental, they are full body experiences of love, joy, anger. I mean, all of it. And so I trust these feelings. When I first had that awakening experience, which was very dramatic, and a lot of the teachers like to say, that's not it, that was a glimpse. I don't care what you call it. I knew then, that I wasn't what I thought I was and that I was something different. And I knew that I had been spoken to by God, whatever we call God. And it was a full body experience. And so, yes, how does that relate to this? I can bring this experience on now. I used to wait for it. It would just happen every once in a while, just like the chills, you never know when it's going to happen. But now when I sit and remember, so I'm astonished and I'm astonished at the same time that I am certain. It's like I'm astonished, but I'm not. I realize, that's the word I'm looking for. It's a realization of the truth. And that realization always brings on a bodily response as well as a heartfelt knowing. So that's what you get when I don't know what I'm going to say.
Beautiful.
That's what you get. And that's what I get too. The beauty of the experiences that I cherish and I am so honored, feel like a holy instance, but more than holy instance. It's all holy ground. I feel like there's something sacred about even our words that we exchange back and forth with one another. It has this quality of being sacred. Like we should kiss the words and bow before the words.
Beautiful.
That's it. I love you.
What say you, Amy Heibel, who your hand went up, it went down, nothing.
I just want to know why she's allowed to do that. She like have a special. I'm kidding you. I'm teasing you.
All right. Well, then I'm going to say, Josephine, I'm so happy that you are here. You're going to unmute though, so we can hear your voice. Oh, there you go.
Yes, it's wonderful, the re-entry. It's interesting that being away from, I guess, the idea of togetherness, it alienates me even from myself and my seeking. I feel very distant, and it's been just 1 month. Also, I've had a lot of, the last time we spoke, I had ankle issues. Well, now I've had bronchial issues, which I get periodically. So I wasn't even sure I'd be able to be here today because I have bronchitis. So a lot happens when I'm away from, I guess, seeking the divinity, and when I'm away from sharing it. It makes such a huge difference, and that's what I've realized during this month. So all to say, I'm glad to be back, and I haven't really delved into the lesson, but I just took notes on what you all have been saying, and I like the idea of the pause, stop with the busyness of the world. And that's the lesson. That's a lesson I'm taking away with today. Stop, and allow the sense of truth, whatever form it comes in my mind. but leave space for the truth. And so, all which to say, I'm glad to be back. And next month, or later this month, I'm going to have to take a week or two absence. My family is coming back and will occupy most of my time, but I will be back. And thank you for caring. And I guess thank you for being you.
And I just so that you know, I don't use that word seeking anymore. I've replaced it with marinating.
Marinating? Huh.
Would you like me to say more?
No, that's a teaching. Yes, I would like you to say more.
So the truth is what we are. We can never not be that. The idea that we have to find it doesn't make sense if that is what we are. So this idea of being separate from the truth, it's been useful for me to consider that just as, sometimes I call it congealed flow, like an area of consciousness that is somehow a low enough density so that the energy doesn't move. Does that make sense? Can you feel what I'm saying? So when you simply stop seeking, because when you're seeking, you're feeding this idea that you're not already it. Feeding this idea that you have to go somewhere to discover what you are, which doesn't even make any sense, Josephine. If you sit, how could you ever be somewhere other than where you are? So when I marinate, as opposed to seek, I'm simply allowing this sense of separateness to be held by what knows the truth. And when you marinate a piece of meat, it opens, it tenderizes, the marinade gets in between the sinews and the tendons, and it just informs your sense of separateness with something other, more useful. So I don't seek anymore, I marinate. Do you like it?
I do. And it brings another word to my mind, which is reflect. How do you feel about that one?
Well, what comes up when you said the word is something that you're reflecting off of is separate than you are. And so it has, like, when we say that the world I see outside of myself is a projection or a reflection of the thoughts believed, if you're sitting really solid in this belief of separation, knowing that the world is a reflection of inner beliefs become very useful. But at some point, there's the chill, Sandra. At some point, you let go and you sink into a lot of what's, like, I would almost say, listen to what Sandra shared again, in this recognition that it's everything. So more and more, I don't separate who I am from God, and I don't separate who I am from the world. It's all the same. And when you're marinating in that, there is no reflection, there just is. So it's all useful. It's all useful. You know, it's very useful when you're stuck feeling like you're a body and a victim and look at all these horrible things that the world is doing to me. It becomes extraordinarily useful to know that the world is a reflection of thoughts believed. But at some point, it all sort of softens, becomes just this. Good?
Good. That's better. I'll try to marinate.
And when you're really feeling stuck, reflect works. And when you're feeling really, really like, oh, I hate the world, screaming works. Like it just is. It's all of it. I've realized not a single person has raised their hand in this hour. Cindy has been volunteering, people left. Oh, that's not true. I take that back. Amy raised her hand and then lowered it and didn't speak. So
My God, I can't get away from you, can I?
you are me,
You
my
are me. I knew you would
beloved
say
friend.
that. Before the last word came out of my mouth, I knew you were going to say that. This is a really great teaching. Um, I love my old Course in Miracles book, which is the blue book, because I've been making notes in the workbook for years, for like 20 years. And I love to go back and read them. I'm drawn to August's experience of not being able to get away from the music. And it really gets to a lot of what's happening in this lesson, because the music was experienced as being separate from him. And what he was getting from the world was experienced as being separate from him. He tried to make it so clear, I need peace and quiet. And then the world gave him what he specifically said he didn't want, right? And I mean, part of me really resonates with that because we try to be good, we try to understand the lessons and to marinate and to do all the things that we know are truthful, and we know the truth about our self, we think we do, and yet the universe still just goes, bam! You thought you had it, you thought you got it, I'm just going to send you another one to show you that you're still separate, right? And I love that, this says this world was made, that this is the way reality, quote unquote, is made, is by partial vision. And so the music seeming to come from outside, and I'm not calling August out on this because part of the reason that I put my hand up and then put it down is this weekend has felt to me like this whole world has been outside and then I come back in, and then it goes outside and then it comes back in. August, 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 August. And it goes out, comes back in, goes out, comes back in. And I come back to knowing the oneness and then I forget it. The world pulls me back out again. Then I come back in to knowing that it's all the same name, as this lesson says, it's all the same name. I take the pause and then it gets pulled out again. And there's a point where I just go, I am so tired of coming in and out. I just want to stay in the knowing. I just want to stay there and rest in that. But the world won't let you. It keeps pulling you back in. And I almost think that's what aging is all about. We just get internally tired of going back in and coming out and going back in and coming out. And it feels like it should be so easy to stay in the resting place, in that pause, because that's our natural state, right? That is our natural state. But the world pulls us back in again. And I don't really know what to say about that, or there's nothing to do about it. It's just the way it is. But that's kind of where I am. And I'm in my not knowing. I'm just living in not knowing. I'm sort of feeling that and not knowing it. And the other thing I just want to say is this lesson says, no one can fail who seeks the meaning of the name of God. And it also says, God has no name. God has no name. So for those who call God the Father or the Mother or whatever the hell you want to call it, just remember God has no name. The big sky daddy, whatever the frig you want to call it. Every time you use the word God is my father, I'm calling you out on that inside. And I realize that's not very nice of me to say, but that's what happens, just so you know. So no one can fail. No one can fail. Right? But experience must come to supplement the word. And that's what the experience is doing. It's coming. And that's the music that I was hearing all weekend. And that's August music. It's the music of the world, you know, coming to give you the experience of going, fuck, I can't stand this. I want it to stop. I asked specifically for it not to be here, and it's here. And I'm doing everything right. I know I laid all the groundwork. It should all be okay, and it's not okay. And yet, going deep inside into that inner space, which you learn to do more and more and more, and you lose yourself in it. And then you come out and you go, wow, wow. That's where the truth is. That's where the truth is. And it's just, you know, nothingness. No words, no words, no words. So that's where I am. Thank you. I love you all.
I love us, and that's an hour plus a little. So
All right.
we're hanging out for anyone who can come in 2.5 hours with the guides. Let me stop the recording. Here we go.